Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the United Way for the latest breaking Manchester United news. Qatar submit new bid, final bid. Sheikh Jassim is, seems like he's going to lay down the law. But joining me today to discuss the ownership news is Rahul. Rahul, how's things, man?
Good to be back, man. So how's everything?
Not
How's
too bad,
everything
not
been?
too bad. And nice to have you back on as well. It's a pleasure. Um, as well. And yeah, doing well. I've recovered from Saturday's loss. Hopefully, Inter Milan can do a job, but I'm not going to keep my hopes up. I'm not going to get my hopes up. Sorry, is what I'll say. Uh,
Mm.
Hopefully, they can be. City, I'm sure you'll be supporting Inter Milan on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's for sure, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everyone will. Everyone. Manchester United fans, especially. I can't think of one United fan who wants City to win. Uh, But yeah, I mean, listen, obviously, we have this ownership which has been going on since November, would you say?
I mean, for
This kind of.
United fans, it's been going on forever.
Oh,
Because
yeah, it
it's
feels like it's been going on
yeah,
for years,
yeah,
but since the
yeah,
Glazers put the club up for sale, like, it has, I mean,
yeah. Mm.
it got to the stage where we thought we were going to have new owners by April, then we thought maybe January, then we thought, right then, we'll push it to May. We're in June, and we still haven't got new owners, which I hate to say, but it seems like I don't know if new owners do come in now, will that just you know will Ten Hag's transfer plans go out the window? I doubt they will because especially if a Qatar come
Yeah.
in, they'll want to just someone will want to make I don't know a statement. Whoever comes in, or if the Glazers stay, yeah, good luck to us getting Mason Mount if you want to say if anyone even wants him. Uh, But yeah, it does feel like it's been going on for decades, not years. Let's be
Yeah.
brutally honest here. But Rahul, like obviously before we do jump into all this, like, what's your thoughts on this ownership? This saga we'll call it.
I mean, it wasn't a big surprise to me with the Glazers involved. Nothing is gonna be smooth. They're always gonna drag things out, and people have mentioned that the process is actually going faster than it should be. I mean, that's surprising, but still, I mean, with the Glazers, we're always in for disappointment. But at the end of the day, for me, I would wait. I would rather wait a season, one more season, and get Qatar than get Ratcliffe right now. So I'm a patient guy. I'll wait as long as I get the right person. Because if we get Ratcliffe now, then we're again stuck with him and probably the Glazers as well for another maybe 2 decades. So I'd rather wait for a year, but I just hope that we get Qatar in, and
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's just hope.
yeah. I mean, I think Ratcliffe has shot himself in the foot, saying that he still wants the Glazers to have some sort of say if he takes over, which that's kind of I think he has shot himself in the foot.
Yeah,
Before
I
that he
mean,
got.
there's no, there's no coming back. If you ask the Glazers to stay, I mean, there's no coming back. Is he really a United fan if he's doing that? And
Nah, that's it. Yeah,
yeah,
that's it. I mean, you know, before obviously Ratcliffe was like, oh, the Glazers, I want them having a certain percentage or whatever it is of the club. But I still want them to be there. I don't want them just going. Uh, before all that, a few people were like, yeah, I wouldn't mind Ratcliffe like me. Like, it's weird because when Ratcliffe was the only option, it was right, we'll go from. Now guitars came in, you're like, yeah, I want guitar. I don't want you. I want the money. You know what I mean? And I think Sheikh Jassim is a Manchester United fan as well, actually. So I've seen. You said that same thing about Ratcliffe, and he wants to be the Glazers uh, as well. But like, can you see us getting new owners before next month? Like, or can you see the Glazers staying around for another summer?
I think the finalized deal will be done uh, before the next season starts, but I don't think it'll be done in this. I would be surprised if it's done in this month, to be honest, because the Glazers they just give me no confidence. Hopefully, it's done by this month, by the end of June, but. all we can do is hope. We are powerless in this situation, and we can just voice our opinions that we have for so many years. But at the end of the day, Glazers aren't going to really consider anything. They're just looking at the best deal, and yeah, that's all we can do is be patient and wait.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. I mean, I'll read it. I'll read the news. Anyways, like there's loads of news, like Mike Keegan, Jacob Spain, Mike, Jamie Jackson. Obviously we had Ben Jacobson, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson? Jamie Jackson. Jesus Christ. Jamie Jackson on the channel before. It'd be weird if we had Michael Jackson now, wouldn't it? Be scary as well. But listen, we'll move in anyway. So this comes from Mike Keegan. Sheikh Jassim's fifth bid for Manchester United includes a deadline for final negotiations of this Friday. Sheikh Jassim's bid will still remain after this Friday deadline. However, there won't be further negotiations from then on. Then Ben Jacobs has come out and said Sheikh Jassim's 92 Foundation have submitted a fifth bid to buy Man United Football Club. It is an improved take it or leave it final offer. If there is no feedback or progress by Friday, Sheikh Jassim will no longer engage. So, do you reckon, Sheikh Jassim is just saying this, that you take it or leave it offer because he wants to, I don't know, make the Glazers panic or whatever it may be? Or do you reckon, well, what he said, that's it? Like, if don't hear anything back by Friday, he's gone. Or do you reckon it's just mind games?
No, I don't think it's mind games. I think Sheikh Jazim isn't one for that. These guys are really powerful, rich people. They don't play these small games. Uh, I don't think that they're the kind of people who are gonna, fall into this trap of Glazers, succumbing to whatever it is that they expect them to do. I think these people are straight up and honest. They give you their offer, and if you're not accepting it, then they don't want to be, they don't want to be involved in this situation. They could go and buy some other club in the spare time that they have. So I think that shows you the kind of owners they are as well. They're ruthless owners, right? They're gonna do whatever has to be done fast. So I think it's definitely a serious bid, this time.
Yeah, and it will be like, it'd be gutting if they just leave. Like, then it'd be like, right, well, here we go again. And then, like, I personally think the Glazers prefer the Ratcliffe bid.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, if you're gonna give the
because
Glazers power to stay, then they're always gonna choose Ratcliffe. That's what I
exactly
feel.
that exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm not probably not the only one. Probably ourselves and other Man United fans think the same. If Qatar, offered 4 billion, it's not the Glazers asking for us, but 4 billion or 5 billion, and they say, listen, you can still have some sort of power. They'd be like, right, we'll accept that, and Ratcliffe has done that. So that's why I feel like the Glazers are just like, do we want the money or do we want to still stay? It's an interesting one. Uh, but I mean, listen, if I feel like the fans, I mean, I'd be pretty pissed off if Qatar walk away and Ratcliffe takes over. But I'm sure the fans, yourself, will go mental.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think that Qatar are the kind of people who want to go into anything half-assed. If they go into a venture, they want to go with full ownership, with full control, so that if the venture finally fails, then they can take accountability and say, yeah, we went into it and it failed, and that's okay. It's a different story. But to go into it half-assed is like you're not committing yourself. So Qatar is that's the way, right? 100% ownership, and they've laid out the plan, everything that they intend to do. So I think that's the right way of doing business. And Qatar, I mean, with Ratcliffe, it's just everything is half-assed. Everything, I mean, that's just how it is with him, right? There's nothing, there's no clarity, and the fans have no confidence. So I mean, let's just hope it's Qatar at the end of the day.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Because, as I said, if Qatar walk away, you're probably going to get another protest. Obviously, there's not much, the season is over, but you might get something crazy again. Uh, But to be brutally honest with you, I want like there's negatives, there's pros and cons about Ratcliffe and Qatar, isn't it? Like there is, there is. I'd say there's more cons over Ratcliffe than there is about Qatar. Do you get me?
Yeah, and I think that even if Qatar walks away or if Qatar's bid is rejected, I think it'll be forgotten very fast. Because
Yeah.
once Qatar walks away, Ratcliffe is going to come in. He's going to finalize the deal probably in 2 weeks' time, and once he's announced, he's going to come up with a big announcement. He's probably going to talk to the fans and stuff like that. This is the kind of formalities you expect a new owner is going to do. And I think some fans might take it as, yeah, we're headed in the right direction and things will just be forgotten. So that's what I think it's going to be like that. And there's nothing we can do, honestly. It's just we just feel sad that it's come to this.
Yeah, it is. It really, really is. I mean, I think he's in pole position as well, Ratcliffe. So it's weird how he offers less. I think, and that's and then the Glazers probably are in that bid. How he's in pole position. So I mean, it's just it is mad. And like you look at Mason Mount, for example, who we're looking at. That's such a Ratcliffe Glazer signing. It is. Like it is. You know. Uh, I mean, listen, it could be, a Qatar one, but if they're in pole position, Ratcliffe, like if Qatar were in pole position, I'll be sitting here saying, right, Hill, who do you think we're going to bring in? Let's do a transfer show, because Ratcliffe is in pole position. It's a bit like, can we bring in a Kane or an Osimhen or a Mount or I don't know, a Kim and Jay, whoever you want or whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
it is one of them
So
crazy
I think
situations.
what the difference is that if Qatar comes in, then we could strive to be a European powerhouse. Something like Real Madrid, like a Barcelona, Man City now, Bayern Munich. Those are the kind of clubs that we strive to become. That's the aim with Qatar. But with Ratcliffe, we'll become a family club. We'll become like the next Everton. A club that's, yeah, we have a good fan base, a good club to come. A club that will give you good games, good few games to the top teams, but they're never going to really challenge for a treble or for a Champions League title. I think that's the kind of club we'll become. So the standard will just be lower, and if the fans accept that, then which obviously I don't think they will, but we'll have no choice but to accept it. So let's just
Yeah.
hope again.
Yeah, but it'd be a tough pill to swallow, wouldn't it, if Ratcliffe comes in? It will.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
you have to be. I mean, most of them, I've threw polls up on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube lives, and Qatar have come out the winners in them. So this goes to show the majority of the fan base want Qatar. There's no Ratcliffe. No, there's no No one's voting all Ratcliffe. You might get the 10% who I feel like those 10% is probably a mixture between Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, all them fans. The 90% is Manchester United. Uh, well, City don't really have fans, but anyways, that's another one. I'm not trying to be salty, uh, but it is mad, and this is like it's a saga. Like, and again, like you said at the start of the show, Rahul, it's the Glazers. They're not going to let anything go. Just like that. They're gonna make you sweat, basically. Just like when we sign players. We can't we can't look at a player on a Monday, sign him on a Wednesday. We look up him on a Monday and sign him. I don't know, a month after that. You know, so they just don't know how the mojo goes. But Tanya, watch and let us know your thoughts. If you've seen the latest news about Qatar, let us know who you would like and what your thoughts as well. I'll read through some of the rest as well. There's a good bit. Uh, I mean, it's still loads of news coming out while I'm speaking to you, Rahul. But yeah, Mike Egan said Sheikh Jassim's bid. I'm reading the right one. I'm not reading the right one. Sheikh Jassim's newest offer, was submitted directly to the Glazers and Ryan. So he's basically rang up the phone and said, "Listen, here's your bloody 6, 5 billion, whatever it may be, because I'm just reading here that he still falls short of 6 billion, but I read that. So I reckon that's a good thing that it's directly to the Glazers and Ryan, or I think this Sheikh Jassim fella doesn't seem to mess about. He wants to get the business done.
Yeah, that's what I had mentioned earlier. These are guys that they're not gonna play these small games. They're gonna put the deal that they think is the right deal, and then it's up to the Glazers. They're very straightforward. They they're here to do business. They're not here to play games. So
Yeah.
I think it's up to the Glazers now, and I just don't think that they're gonna accept this bid. Uh, 5.8, I think, is what the value was. I don't think they're going to accept it. If they do, I think that's a dream for every United fan. But let's just hope again.
Yeah, it's not looking very likely. Anyways, but yeah, like as you mentioned there about uh, the bids, the 6 billion. Sheikh Jassim's bid is revised, however, it still falls short of the 6 billion asking price set by the Glazers. The Qatari's latest offer went in earlier this week and is understood to be a circa $6.5 billion with $1 billion of pledged investment on top. So that's dollars, and I don't think dollars is the Glazers. Glazers want pounds. Do you know what I mean? They don't want euros, dollars. Uh, they want pounds basically. So the Glazers, again, I don't think Manchester United is worth 6 billion. I love Manchester United, but the way the Glazers have ran this club over the last 17, 18, whatever maybe years, you know, it's not worth 6 billion, is it, Rahul? Like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point with the Glazers again. I think what Qatar have given is a reasonable bid. And it's a good bid. And if the Glazers really care about the club, then they should walk away. They failed. They have failed in the past how many ever years, or 2 decades almost. They failed. They haven't brought success to the club. And if they really care about the club, they should walk away. It's not it's not just about making money. It's also about the morality, right? The values, the delivering success to the fans as well. So that's what I feel.
Yeah, that's it. It shows it's still under 6 billion. Uh, it's still under the £6 billion mark that the Glazers have set. So it's a bit worrying. You know what I mean? It's a bit worrying, but obviously Qatar aren't dancing to the Glazers tune. Which you've seen likes of Ben Jacobs and other journalists say that they're not dancing to the Glazers tune, Qatar. That they're not. Uh, the only way you could probably buy the club without giving them 6 billion is by saying, right, here's 3 billion, whatever, and the Glazers you can still have you know a share in the club, or and that's no one wants that. Like, there's no point having that. The Glazers want that. They want someone to come in and buy the club and still have a say. And Ratcliffe, I just feel like I just don't feel confident with Ratcliffe. I mean, the more I talk about Ratcliffe, the more I'm like, I can't. I just can't. And obviously, you look at FFP, all that. And anyways, if they do come in, they're not going to splash out 600, 500 million. Obviously, not. 200, 100 million, 150 million, 200 million should be the reasonable price for a first season. But you just don't know. You just don't know. But yeah, I mean, obviously we have. I'll read through some more as well because we'll talk about it a bit more. Uh, so there's been growing frustration at how long the sale has taken, especially given the imminent opening of the transfer window. It is understood that the need to strengthen Eric Ten Hag's squad has played a major role in Sheikh's latest and final move. He is keen to complete the takeover and arm the manager with significant funds ahead of the new season. Uh, so it seems like, because a lot of people seem to be worried about in case whoever came in, if it was a Qatar or, we'll speak about Qatar because they're the ones saying that they'd still have Ten Hag in control. But it's like a lot of people were worrying because, if we bring in, if Qatar takes over, will he do like what Todd Bowley done to Chelsea? And obviously Todd Bowley was sacked because he wasn't a good manager near the end, or nothing worked. But could you see that being a problem if we get a new owner that Ten Hag could maybe get sacked? I think it's ridiculous. I think Ten Hag will keep his job regardless. He should.
I think Glazers have been incompetent, as you know, and if Ratcliffe comes in, then the Glazers are going to stay, and they're always going to be in the ear of Ratcliffe. And Ratcliffe isn't really a great owner, just look at what he's done with the other club that he owns. Yeah, he hasn't
Yeah,
been a great owner, Even they don't. I don't think that club has too much respect for him as an owner. Um I I don't think anything's possible with them. They could sack Ten Hag. They probably won't because there's not many other better managers out there. So, but then again, these guys are only after the results, and if Ten Hag maybe slips up and finishes fifth or sixth, they're not going to look at the bigger picture, and that's always going to be a problem. It's always going to be a danger that they might do it. Let's just hope again that they are not in charge.
yeah, that's it. That's it. But like, if they do, if whoever comes in and gets rid of Ten Hag, I'll be like, why? Like, if you look at what the bloke's done in his first season, I know he's had a few hammerings, 2 or 3, but still, you have to give it to the fella who yeah, I mean, he didn't have a proper striker. Don't say Wakehorse is a proper striker. Marshall is made of glass. Wakehorse, you could say he had the passion, but did he have the skill? And he just didn't have it. You know what I mean? He just didn't have it. And I wish him the best of luck, but just not for us anyway. So yeah, you have to give it to him. But if Ten Hag got the backing of the proper striker, you know, whoever that may be, if just the players people watching, Harry Kane, Osimhen, they're probably the major two. Harry Kane obviously seems more unlikely as the days go on. Uh, so Ten Hag obviously does need the backing, and if Qatar come in, you'll probably say he'll get that. Ratcliffe will probably be, Ten Hag could go up and say, listen, I want to get Mason Mount. Just say, for example, and you could get Ratcliffe turning around and saying, do you really want them? I mean, you can let's go for someone else a bit cheaper. Do you know what I mean? So that's what you worry about. You know what I mean? Because Ten Hag wants these players. I mean, look at Frankie de Jong, for example. He wanted Frankie de Jong. And we look around Casemiro. I know he's probably the second choice, but you look at him this season, Rahil. I'm sure he's done a lot better than you thought. Casemiro, but then obviously Casemiro needs a partner or a backup to him because Casemiro likes to get a couple of red cards since he's arrived. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like Rahil Qatar would back Ten Hag a lot more than what Ratcliffe would do. Would you agree?
I think look, Qatar is a club that is an ownership that's gonna strive for success. Whether that's with Ten Hag, with anyone else, all Qatar wants is for the club to be successful, to year on year challenge for the title, to win Champions League titles. That's what Qatar wants, and they're gonna look at what is the best available resource to do that. And obviously, right now it's Ten Hag, so they're gonna obviously back Ten Hag. They're gonna give him whatever money. Uh, whatever transfers that he wants, whoever he wants to sign, they're going to try their 100% best to deliver on those transfers, and they probably will because they have the resources. But obviously with Ratcliffe and with the Glazers in charge, you never know, right? Because they're not an ownership that's going to strive for success, because what they are looking for is they're looking at the financial part of it, how it's going to benefit them. If I spend too much on this transfer, what's going to be the profit to cost ratio, what's going to be the benefit for me as an owner. But they don't look at it as a club being successful. They look at it as how am I going to make more money, how am I going to be the better owner here. So I think that's the difference with Qatar. They're looking at the club. They're true fans, I believe, and they want the club to do well. So I think that's the difference. And you'll feel a better bond with Qatar once they come in than you would with Ratcliffe.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I agree. I agree, but it is interesting because there's still a lot more news coming in. Literally, like while Rahul's talking, like it's just more news and news and news coming in. But you're gonna get that over the rest of the day now. You know, that's it. That's all you're gonna get. Obviously, you can't look into too much news, but you know it's hard to because the fans just want to have a new hour, fresh start. You know, you have a good manager. You know, brilliant fans. You know, we have to give it to us. We've been through literally every single emotion. I think this season just gone, but you could say more good emotion than bad as well. But obviously I'll read through a lot more as well. So Jim Ratcliffe, I don't know what he's here, but Jim Ratcliffe and his petrochemicals firm, I think I'm saying that right, Ineos have emerged as clear favourites to complete a deal with the club owners, the Glazer family, and have entered the final stages of negotiations with Ryan, the New York banking handling the sale. Uh, I mean, I just surely Ratcliffe doesn't buy the club, surely not. But anyways, the Sheikh Jassim's offer that went in, obviously, earlier this week is understood to be a circa $6.5 billion with $1 billion of pledge investment on top. 92 Foundation sources point out that their offer is at an enormous premium on the current share price. This is Ben Jacobs, forgot to throw that in there. So again, enormous premium. You know, they seem to be definitely, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, again, as Rahel said, they're sick and bored of awards. You know, they're just going to throw everything. You know, not going to dance to the Glazers chill. And if, come Friday, to don't anything back, that's it. They're gone. I mean, there's only 2 days away from Friday. You know, I'm sure tomorrow they'll be thinking, hold on a sec, I'm not hearing anything. And if they walk away, it's gonna be more. And then that's it. People were just like, what's the point of selling the club? Uh, as well. But anyways, any sale, this is Ben Jacobs again. Any sale to Sheikh Jassim would clear Manchester United's debt and provide funding our players, infrastructure, and lots more. Uh, the opening of the transfer window was seen as critical by Sheikh Jassim in his eyes. It will have an enormous bearing on the future of Manchester United, and he feels coming in midsummer would be damaging. Would you agree, Rahul? He thinks that coming in midsummer would be damaging. So do you reckon he'd prefer to come in August, September instead? I mean, there's a lot of this is where the news just messes my head up. But
I
what would
think
you be?
it depends on the If it depends on the owner. If it's Qatar that's coming in midsummer, then I don't mind. Because if it's that Qatar in midsummer or Ratcliffe now, I take Qatar midsummer. But if it's Ratcliffe now or Ratcliffe midsummer, then obviously we take him right now, so we can have a better chance to progress next season. Because listen, we have finished that one season honeymoon period. Uh, the foundation has been laid out this season. We can't afford to spend another season just developing. We need to see a little more results as well. We need to see progress, and that progress won't be possible if Ratcliffe or Qatar, whoever it is coming in midsummer, because it's going to be very difficult to get deals done, because deals are usually done before the summer even starts. So doing it midsummer is going to be very difficult. So let's just hope whatever the situation is, that pans out in our favor.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But Jamie Jackson has said this is crunch time. Says a percentage close to Manchester United sale. Sheikh Jassim's offer is for 100% of the club. Is transactionally simple. Repeating it would clear debt completely and provide additional funding for players, stadium, and lots more. Says Simon Stone. We have a comment in here from Fortune Mashoro. Says if the Glazers don't allow this, there will be absolute hate, and we are changing clubs to support. I mean, I don't think I'd support a different club if the Glazers stay. I mean, Rahul, like if the Glazers stay or whoever comes in, would you be like, yeah, I'm going to support Bolton?
No, I mean, we won't change clubs, but then our interest in United would have died a little bit. Our expectations
No,
would
yeah,
have gone down. So that's the only effect that it's going to happen, with Glazers and
yeah.
Ratcliffe.
I mean, I can see where Fortune Mashuro is coming from. I can't, there'd be a lot. There'd be probably carnage. You probably get people. Like I feel like if you got a new owner now, you go into next season thinking, oh, here we go, it's gonna be a great one. If you go in with a Ratcliffe or the Glazers, you're going to be like, yeah. So it'd be a bit of an uncertain. Like God knows where we'll be by the end of the summer. Whether we'll have new owners, or the Glazers will still be around. I'll be surprised if the Glazers are still here by August. I really will. But I said I'd be surprised if they'd be here by June, and look where we are now. Uh, as well. But again, anyone else get your thoughts in? Uh, Obviously, this is the same news I've been reading. Manchester United's main concern is that the continued uncertainty regarding the future of the club and the ongoing takeover talks have made it much more difficult to plan ahead, with budgets potentially affected by any imminent ownership change. Uh, it is understood to be a fluid situation and things could change very quickly depending on any takeover developments or transfer market activity that could have ramifications at Old Trafford. I mean that's the thing, isn't it, Rahul? Like we don't know how much we've like Ten Hag has got to spend. Yeah, last season he did. I think it was like 200 million or something like that. 250. I'm not sure. This season we don't know. So do you reckon? I don't know. Could you see? Is that another concerning thing for you? We don't know how much we've gotten yet. No one knows. You know, you can't do it. It is hard. Like for Ten Hag because we're looking at Mason Mount and 50, 60, 70 million, 40 million. I think he's worth. But anyways, uh,
Yeah, I think
you
it's
look at
definitely, if Qatar comes in, then you've mentioned, they're going to clear the debt, they're going to rewrite the club's financial structure and everything. So it's going to be a real fresh start for us. And we know that if Qatar comes in, we're going to have a good amount of money to spend, at least more than we would under Ratcliffe. But if Ratcliffe comes in, then you're still operating on debt. You still have all these kind of different factors coming into play, and that's going to affect our transfer budget. So it's just plain and simple. Qatar is a real fresh start. With Ratcliffe, it's more like, it's more Ratcliffe isn't much of an owner. I would say he's like an investor. Because he doesn't really have the power as an owner to really compete with the giants like Newcastle, with Man City, with the Bayern Munich. And those kind of clubs, you're not going to compete with Ratcliffe and Glazers in charge.
yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. Like I think to be the best or to compete at the top, like you said, Rahul, you have to. You can't bring in a Ratcliffe. It has to be Qatar, or maybe another uh, rich owner. Because the Glazers for me are just, they're just a bit, they're just greedy Glazers. I think everyone's always called them greedy Glazers. But it is an interesting one, and hopefully, you know, Qatar come in. It's still under the bid they put in. I think it's still under the Glazers' asking price, so it's another worrying thing. But hopefully, you know, fingers crossed that. I can't see them accepting the offer. So like, are you optimistic, Rahul? Do you feel like Qatar are going to take over, or are you having second thoughts? Do you think maybe we'll have to stick with Ratcliffe or go with Ratcliffe, which I don't want to, but
I think I'll compare it to the FA Cup final. When we went into the FA Cup final against Man City, we all knew, like, our brain would tell us that Man City is a better team and they're probably going to win and beat us, right? That's the equivalent to Ratcliffe. I think Ratcliffe, as I feel, is like is the Man City in this scenario. I think we all know that he's gonna take over from, he's gonna be the next owner. But in our hearts, in the FA Cup, we all wanted United to win, and we all had that outside chance that United is going to beat Man City and lift the FA Cup. So I think with Qatar, they're the United in this situation. They're the owner that we feel is maybe going to, against all odds beat Man City, beat Jim Ratcliffe, and take ownership. So that's the analogy I feel is the right one to have in this situation. So coming to the conclusion, I feel that Ratcliffe is going to be the new owner. I feel, and I'm pretty confident that it will be him. Uh, but I just, again, it's just hope that Qatar can, somehow take ownership.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've been very vocal and who you wanted. You Qatar, like that's like. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. You know, I don't think anyone will. You know, I think if we sit here saying, well, Ratcliffe, people be thinking, are you high? You know, you're crazy. Like I don't want them. I just don't. You know, if there was any other option there, if it was Qatar against any other option, I'd be like, right, fair enough. You know, you want to buy. Like, if, obviously, that second option would have to be 100% of the club. Not, oh yeah, I'll buy 70% or whatever, and blah 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 blah, and then I'll buy the club in 2025, 2026. Like, come on, like that's ridiculous. I mean, like, look at our neighbours. They're literally on the run to win a treble, and no one wants to see City win the treble. And if we got the backing, we probably could have stopped them, but we didn't. You know, and I know Rome wasn't built in the day. You're not going to bring in these players and win a treble the season after. You know what I mean, or the season coming. So it is an interesting one. Uh, to say, I mean, I'm sure like we'll be back on here over the summer. You know, discussing ownership news. You know, we'll have transfer shows and keep, buy, sell shows, and obviously there'll be a head-to-head show coming. I put a poll up on the Instagram, and I think it's Kane and Osimhen which is in the lead, so might have to do that one. So that'll probably be up sometime.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
think I think the main difference is if we do have keep buy shows, keep buy and sell shows next summer. I think with Ratcliffe, it's gonna be who are we gonna sign next from Everton? Who's gonna be our next signing from Crystal Palace? And if it's with Qatar, it's gonna be who are we signing from Barcelona? Who are we signing from Real Madrid? So that's the difference,
Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
We bring in Wilfried Zaha back. Bring Zaha back. Oh God. Yeah, we be signing. Who's their striker? Is it Edward? I think it's Edward.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind Elise or Eze. Yeah, I got to, they're not going to get you winning really back to the top. So yeah. I mean, Ratcliffe worries me. You know, we'll be getting really this season. We'll get Mason Mount, and if Ratcliffe takes over, Mason Mount and oh no, sorry, Loftus Cheek, sorry, and Aubameyang. you know, you know, I mean, it is, and I mean, just what's the point of bringing Ratcliffe in where we might as well just stick with the Glazers? Now, listen, if Ratcliffe comes in, I hope he proves us all wrong, but I'm very confident in saying that he's not. He's not going to prove us wrong. He's going to prove us right. So yeah, if Ratcliffe does come in, we'll probably be sitting here probably around this time next year and be like, so another protest, So it is, and it'd be nice to go into the new season with Qatar as new owners, fresh players. Ten Hag seems to be already wanting to sell some of the dead wood. Hopefully that can keep going, but if you don't make sure don't sell too much because we might be getting anyone. So, if Qatar come in, Ten Hag, I'm sure he'll probably get two or three, maybe four signings. We'll be have to summer like we did last summer. We brought in Anthony, Casemiro, Martinez, and Malacia. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But you could probably have more of them summers even better under Qatar. I mean, remember the time where we were looking at. Remember Apple wanted the boys on people like Old Trafford, and Ten Hag could have an iPad beside him, and the players that have the Apple logo on their jerseys.
Yeah, you look at Liverpool. They've just signed McAllister. You look at Man City. They've signed Kovacic. They've already done business before us. Before we've even decided what's going to happen. Who are we going to go for? They've already signed the players. How do we compete with them? So you need to get owners like Apple, Amazon, people like that, people like Qatar who are gonna be ruthless in the market, who are gonna be actually able to compete with City on the field and off the field. So, I mean, with Ratcliffe, I mean, he can promise whatever he wants. I'm sure if he is announced as the next owner, he's going to come in with a big speech, saying I'm going to change how we are. I'm going to bring the Manchester back in Manchester, whatever he wants to say. But we all know that we're just going to cheer for him just for just to have fun. Really, we don't believe in what he's saying. We're just gonna you know uh, ride along with whatever it is. But we know deep in our hearts that he's not going to be able to compete with. Forget about Man City. He won't compete with Newcastle. You know,
Yeah,
and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to compete with Liverpool as well, because Liverpool, whatever you say, they're still a good club, who have Klopp, who has basically he has the majority of the power at that club. So you look at them when they signed McAllister before anything is even started. They've already signed McAllister. That tells me that they're a serious club. They've had a hiccup this season, but I'm sure next season they're gonna do well, and they might even displace us from the top four. So we have to be ruthless, and with Ratcliffe, there's just no it's I don't see it, to be honest.
yeah. But I'm trying to be as confident as I can, in saying that I think Qatar will take over. But it's just I mean, I think it was the third round of bids, a fourth. That Ratcliffe, well, not Ratcliffe, Qatar was like take or leave it offer. So he seems to be throwing all these take or leave it offers in, and then he's like, yeah, do you know, maybe I'll throw another one in. So it's like he wants to let go, but he doesn't want to let go. Do you know what I mean? He's just. In fairness, he's probably like the rest of us. His head is all over the place because no one knows who in God's name is going to take over. But fingers crossed, it's Qatar. I mean, that's all we can do, and be as optimistic as you can. This could be a big week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Qatar takes over because obviously they
I
offer
think
$6.5 billion.
Yeah, I think the only optimism I think that you could take from the deal being stretched out so much is that the Glazers are just stretching it out to get the best offer. So maybe that's what the intention was for the Glazers all along, to stretch this deal out so that Qatar finally puts in a bigger offer, and then they can go ahead and accept that offer. That might be a possibility. I don't think it will be, but it could be a possibility, and maybe that's the optimism you want to take from this whole saga that's been happening. But again, I don't see it happening. I feel Ratcliffe is going to be the new owner.
Fingers crossed he's not. But I know it is interesting. Like obviously, if anything breaks, about transfer news, ownership news, whatever it may be, we'll go live first. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, and like the stream as well. Obviously, you can follow all our socials. You can see a few there below, me and Rahul, and in the links into the description as well. We'll have a show pre-recorded, obviously. I think it will be of head-to-head, depending on how the Instagram poll goes. But as it stands, it's Kane and us. That'll be the head-to-head. But we'll try. Obviously, there's a lot more I have in up my sleeve as well. But Rahul, thanks for coming on, man. Much much appreciated. It was nice to have you back on again.
Thanks for having me back on, man.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was good. A lot of interesting points as usual from yourself or whoever else is on the shows with me. Obviously, we're looking to get more, you know, journalists on. So in the works. So hopefully we can get a few more back on because I'm sure people enjoyed the previous interviews we had. But yeah, thanks, buddy, for watching. Like, comment, that subscribe button, follow our socials. As I said, link in the description. Below me and Rahul there. And yeah, anything that breaks will go live. And check out for the new video that hasn't even been recorded yet. But check out for the new video that'll either be up tomorrow or Friday. Thanks, brother, for watching, and speak to you all in a bit.